I'm doing this a little bit differently. I don't know if this is gonna go well. I really don't. We'll see how we'll see how it pans out. Man, if people show up and people talk, I'm gonna give it 5 minutes. But I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, my whole thoughts on I'm gonna be real. I didn't watch the state of play. I was gonna come on here and talk about the state of play, but to be fairly honest, I didn't watch the state of play as much as I should have. However, I did see some of the game trailers, and some of the game trailers that I have seen, I've got kind of like mixed feelings about. Um, First off, Wolverine looks good. I think Wolverine's gonna look pretty fantastic. I'm just testing to see if the stream works. I don't even know if I'm actually gonna stay here and talk about stuff. I really got to get back and watch some of these trailers before you know anything comes in. But if I were to live stream and I were to have a device and do a completely like legit stream like this, I think I could do it. But I didn't mean to go live. I really didn't mean to go live. I accidentally hit the live button. But we'll wait. We'll see if anybody shows up. And if somebody shows up, cool. If nobody shows up, then I'll probably just end it. But the thing that I have been noticing lately, whenever I go live, you know how like used to I what when I used to go live on YouTube Shorts, I used to get like 40 plus people coming in at once. And granted, I don't know if they were real people, if they were bots or anything, but what I will definitely say is that when I've had started my stream, you would get a flood of people come in, and then, people come in, say hi, and maybe it'll die off and it'll go back to one or two. But as of lately, I haven't seen not one soul pop up on live streams. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's just I'm not doing it right. Um, but YouTube live streams have been really weird for me lately. Some people show up, some people don't. Well, okay, now it's trying to prove itself wrong. But basically, every time that I would live stream any type of stuff on my YouTube, I will just feel like it just I don't get anybody. But it looks like people are showing up. I don't know if people will stick around, but I have a couple topics that I probably will talk about. One of them might be the Nintendo Switch 2 because the Nintendo Switch 2 is practically 1 year old, and there's one big thing that still kind of irks me about the Nintendo right now. And I don't even know who's to blame with it. I don't know if it's Nintendo, I don't know if it's the developers, but I've seen this trend happen with the Nintendo Switch 1, and I'm seeing it happen again with the Nintendo Switch 2, and it is the delay of the same day launch of games that are launching on other platforms. So, for instance, you have 007 First Light, you have the Lego Batman game. Both of these games are scheduled to come out for the Nintendo Switch. And basically, the thing is it releases on the PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, but the Nintendo Switch version is getting a different date altogether. And in today's market, where you have handheld devices like the Steam Deck, like the ROG Allies, if Nintendo is really wanting to capitalize on any sort of third party sales, I almost feel like they need to make sure these games come out on the same date as the PlayStation and Xbox. So, for instance, because one of the main things, now I know people who have consoles are I haven't played 007 yet. I probably will get into it at some point. I want to, but I'm debating if I'm going to get it on my Steam Deck or if I'm going to get it on the console. However, the gameplay that I have watched of 007 actually looks like it looks really good. Because My other thing I was gonna say about 007 that I really do appreciate is the fact that we're getting a modern day shooter, and we aren't getting anything that's sci-fi. We aren't getting anything that's zombies. Because for the longest time, it's always been sci-fi, fantasy, just a bunch of stuff that they haven't covered a modern day shooter in a while. And the last modern day shooter that I have played that is just as good as what 007 looks like was Uncharted 4. I wouldn't put, there's others out there that I would put, but 007 4 or 007 is really giving me like Uncharted 4 vibes. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to work. Now, the topic that I wanted to talk about was the same day launch schedules, because 007 and the new Lego Batman game are both a victim to this. Now for me, I don't personally, it doesn't affect me much because I do have a Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck, after 3 years, as much as it's a great system and I had played most of my titles on here, it is starting to show its age a little bit. Um, so if you were a Nintendo Switch 2 only gamer and you wanted to play the new Lego Batman and you wanted to play 007, you're going to have to wait. The most recent game that came out, which I can give it a little bit of slack because I think it had got announced before the Nintendo Switch 2 was released, was the Indiana Jones game that came out. That was another one that got, like a delayed release for the Nintendo Switch 2. And then the other game that had got canceled out of nowhere was Borderlands 4. Where's Borderlands 4 for the Nintendo Switch 2? No answer about that one. So that was just mainly like a really short rant for me. Mainly just because I remember when I was getting into the first Nintendo Switch before the Steam Deck came out, I would always relate. I would always wait for any Nintendo Switch releases. If a game came out for the Nintendo Switch and it was going to be a game that was ported from the PlayStation or Xbox, I wouldn't pick it up on PlayStation or Xbox because I can just play the portable version. So that's kind of the big one. Let's see. What did you say? What did the comments say? No, I've never heard about that one. But I do know what is the Lana? What is that? I've never heard of that. Is it a game that came out? Let me check. Lanaka. Let me see. How do you say that? Okay. It is. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Actually, you got me curious. Oh, okay. I see what it is. Yeah, 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 yeah. I get it. Oh, it's a country. No, I haven't heard of it. But apparently, hey, guess what? There is a game. No, I haven't. Oh my god. Okay. A completely different subject. I actually, though, it is funny though. I went ahead, I looked up that, and so when I saw that there was a downloadable content for X Plane, that made sense. I was like, okay, it is a country. No, I have not heard about that. But yeah, the ones that made Hitman are the ones that made 007. I'm pretty hyped about that. I think they're the only ones at this point can serve, yeah, I guess, respect the I don't know, the IP at this point. Another franchise that I would love to see come back. I know why. I know it's not going to come back because I don't know who has the rights to it now. I think Square Enix probably still has the rights to it. It is Sleeping Dogs. Sleeping Dogs would be a pretty good have a pretty good sequel, but we're not going to get a Sleeping Dogs sequel. I really should probably turn the fan on. It is burning up in here. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me see if I can get the fan on. I do not think this is a good idea. Oh my god. No, that's too loud. I hope that's not too loud. There we go. If I'm going to be live for like at least 20 minutes, I might as well turn that on. It is way too hot. Yep, that is definitely it. Um, the what are some of my favorite video game franchises? Let's see. I do like Hitman. I am a huge Splinter Cell fan. Let's see. I Grand Theft Auto, obviously. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6 is coming out. Thank goodness I still have my PS5, because if I didn't have my PS5, I'd I'd cry, because that's not coming out for PC for a long time. Um, Last of Us Part One and Last of Us Part Two were cool, but I think that I love the gameplay mechanics for Part Two. The story was questionable, as some would say. Some people like the story for Last of Us Part Two. Some think that the story was absolute garbage compared to the first. So that's kind of it. My most favorite franchise, though, has to be probably Resident Evil. Yep, Resident Evil is my top one. So I ended up playing Resident Evil Requiem. I beat it. And speaking of Resident Evil, the one thing I will say about Resident Evil Requiem is Resident Evil Requiem is one of those games I feel like respects the player's time, because it's not trying to be a super long game. It's about what, 10 to 12 hours? And then I also feel like uh, because of just the pacing of the story, my take with games right now is I can't handle very long games. I don't really want to spend 100 hours playing a bunch of games, and then that dread of launching the title and then having what the next 1,500 hours. So the fact that Resident Evil, say 10, or Resident Evil was about 10 hours, was a pretty sweet spot for me. My biggest thing on what I love about games like that is they're just long enough to sort of keep you satisfied, to where you are getting something that is too complete, and they throw in a couple roguelike mini games to kind of keep you going if you want to replay, the main gameplay loop. Because I mean, I'm a type of gamer that doesn't typically go back and play, games that I have finished, unless it's one that I actually like enjoy. Resident Evil, I probably would go back and replay Resident Evil, just because of all of like the different trophies and the different puzzles that are still kind of lingering around the map. But the new game mode, Leon Must Die, I have not beat the boss once, and it is actually served. I probably played it more than 100 times. I personally don't. I haven't personally played any of these games because I don't have a PC or PlayStation. But in my country, there's a streamer pretty famous, and that dude is streaming the games we request. Ooh, okay. But yeah, I would say that's kind of where I'm very much into it. Because I grew up in the '90s, there's a lot of old titles that I'm getting back into. I've been playing a lot of PlayStation 2 games. I've been playing a lot of Dreamcast. My franchise that I used to be heavily into was a series called Shenmue. I played Shenmue 1 and 2 probably about what 3 times since the time that it released. Once when it came out on Dreamcast and on the original Xbox. A second time when it came out for the PS4, and then the third time was when I actually played it on one of my emulated devices. So, Godfather, yes, I have played Godfather. Godfather was pretty cool. It's a shame we never got a new Godfather game. I know there's Godfather 2, but Godfather 2, unfortunately, I guess did not perform very well, and I rarely can see that game. Like whether it's I don't find that game anywhere. But if Godfather had got another game, if Scarface had got another game, if a Punisher had got another game, Credible Hulk, these are like all games I played, like PlayStation 2 era, going into sort of the PlayStation 3. Like I played all of those and they were fun. Yeah, Godfather game came into handhelds. Yep. I think there's one for the PSP. I know there's a PSP Godfather game. I actually played it. On my Steam Deck right now, the one game that I'm currently, I guess, somewhat invested into is Days Gone. I have not played and finished Days Gone when it first came out, so I'm going back and finishing it. So far, I put 20 hours into it, so that's a start. And I think that's the reason why I like handheld gaming so much is with something like the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch 2, I could turn around and open up a game, play it, power it down, put it in sleep mode, go do other stuff in my day, and then come back and then turn it on back and it's back where I left off. There's no waiting. So unlike say the PlayStation or Xbox, where you have to put it down in sleep mode and then boot it up, there's still more time that it takes to get into the game than it does on say something like a handheld. And plus, if I'm gonna bring this thing everywhere I go, or put it in a backpack, put it in a pouch, let's be real. I'm not bringing this thing many places. If I do bring any console, I'm most likely going to be bringing my AY and Thor or my Switch, but more likely my AY and Thor. Which, speaking about the AY and Thor, that has been a very interesting device to be playing PC games on. Would I recommend playing PC games on the AY and Thor? I don't know. Probably not. I've there's one thing I'm not a huge fan when it comes to PC gaming on the AY and Thor as much as I love it, and that is how long the games take to install and how hot the game or the system gets when installing those games. Like installing a 70 gigabyte game on my AY and Thor is probably going to take me 2-3 hours, and it's going to heat up pretty quickly. But installing that same game on, say, such my Steam Deck, the time is significantly a lot less. It's probably 45 minutes max. So that is partly another thing that I have to say about it. Let's see. I haven't personally caught a war. I have to see if I can. I gotta see with these live streams if there's a way to do the YouTube live stream directly through it and just tether my system right to the stream. I do have a capture card to test it out, but I'm not really interested in testing it out right now. So that's pretty much It's pretty much it. I'm gonna be honest here. When I started doing this live stream, I actually wasn't going to originally do a stream. I was just testing things out, and I literally hit the live button by mistake. Detroit Become Human. I have not finished that, sadly. I want to get into it. I want to play it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I couldn't get into Detroit Become Human. Like, I know it's a good game, and I'm into the story-driven games, but it's just not one that really grabbed my attention. I have it. I just yet have I have yet to actually install and play it and actually sit down and play it. And maybe that might be one of the ones I sit down and play because I want to get through the list. I have a large list of games that I've yet to finish. Let's see. I'm on my Steam Deck right now. Unfortunately, you guys cannot see the screen right yet. It would be great if you guys could see the screen. But let me go over the titles that I really do want to get into. Whether or not I want to buy Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight on my Steam Deck or not, I would love to play a demo of it. Like, where are the demos? Where are the demos for these new games? I've seemed to notice that a lot of the AAA titles that come out now have the demo like 2-3 weeks after the game is released instead of before. Like Resident Evil Requiem did it. Like, even though Resident Evil Requiem is a really good game, uh, that only just now got a demo. The other one I want to get into, which I don't have, is Mafia Old Country. What else? I got 7 Days to Die. That's an old title. Assassin's Creed is one of those franchises because I do have Assassin's Creed games on here, and 90 endings on Detroit Become Human. Oh my goodness, that's like the 200 plus endings in Oblivion, which I still don't know if that's even true. Let's see. I got a game called From Space. I got Funko Fusion, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So yeah, when it comes to Ubisoft titles, my I stopped playing Assassin's Creed religiously after Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now, I have tried Unity, I have tried Syndicate. They're great, but right around when Odyssey came out and then Valhalla, I kind of just fell off track. And it wasn't because they're necessarily bad games per se. It's just they're too long, and I felt like they kind of derived too far from the Assassins, in my personal opinion. So when Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, and they decided to, bring back the hidden blade, you have the hood, you have all the things that sort of make up an assassin, and not to mention that other Assassin's Creed game, Assassin's Creed Mirage. When I got those games, and when I started checking those out, they were Valhalla was way too long. Shadows, I tried that. That is a little too long, and that's kind of like, oh my god. I may be able to get into Mirage, but I don't think I can get into a modern Assassin's Creed game these days, unless they go back to the roots and give me something similar to, say, Black Flag, which I know they're remaking, but I'm not talking about a remake. I don't know. What else do I have? Morbid. Lately, what's really caught my attention are playing those short indie titles on itch.io, like the ones that are for free. And what I love about it is that they are so concise and short, and they're like usually like short horror games that have the aesthetics of like PlayStation 1 graphics. But what I love about those is I feel like even though they're about 45 minutes to an hour at most sometimes, I feel like it's a complete experience, and I don't feel like I'm needing to play more. And there's something about it that like pulls me right into whatever the role play situation is, and especially like the horror ones where you are playing as say like some clerk um, at a haunted grocery store or like a 7-Eleven out in the middle of Japan, like for some odd reason, anything that involves around, watching someone's house, doing a pizza delivery, um, you know, checking out these strange customers, those are titles that I've actually found myself really enjoying lately. And I'm always on the hunt for titles that just give me that weird, surreal experience. So that's another thing. What else is there? Yeah, but Poppy Playtime, I want to pick up. I would like to try Poppy Playtime. However, I haven't really. I don't know if I don't know about the lore part. I don't know. I'm gonna have to give that one a try. Poppy Playtime. Like I might actually buy the collection on the Switch. Get like a physical copy, or if it's on sale on Steam, I'll pick it up Steam. I'm not really like too picky about it. Never tried Sekiro. I haven't. Tried a bit of Ghost of Tsushima. I like it, but it just falls in the category of like one of those long games that I'm just like, do I want to sink that many hours into it? Um, I did beat the Marvel Spider-Mans, and then Spider-Man is like one of those few exceptions of where I will buy a game. So for me, when it comes to AAA games, I typically buy maybe what 2 or 3 AAA games a year if they're interesting. What I'll do is if they're around 20, 30 hours, maybe 40 at most, I would usually pick one up and I'll probably spend like a week or two on it and then I'll be done with it. So, for instance, Marvel Spider Man, Miles Morales, Spider Man 2, Resident Evil was one that I did recently. Pretty much anything that is digestible in about 25 to 30 hours is kind of the sweet spot for me. Like I had tried Elden Ring, which is another long game, and it's cool, but I just don't see myself beating Elden Ring. I probably have at least 300, 400 games that I have bought on my Steam library that were all from 2012 to 2018 that I have still yet ever beaten or like completed. But I'm very much into condensed stories, 20, 30 hour games that are single player campaigns, your Tomb Raiders. Yakuza Zero, I played Yakuza Zero, which is another one that was like has kind of long, but it had enough content that keeps me satisfied. Like I never beat Witcher 3. Like I don't know if I could I don't know if I could sit down and put 100 plus hours into Witcher 3. I know it's great, but I'm just like, oh my god, I don't have that much time anymore, unfortunately. When you have a job and you have responsibilities, video games, sadly, are as less of a priority. Black Myth Wukong? Nope. I wish I could say I played Black Myth Wukong, but I haven't. Uh, I'll see gameplay videos. Actually, I could technically install Sekiro on here. I might actually install it. This is a 14 gigabyte game. I'll install it on my Steam Deck. Maybe I'll do a stream on it. What, I don't know if you've ever played Plague Tale Requiem. Plague Tale Requiem. I have played the first one, Plague Tale Innocence. I have to finish Requiem next. Plague Tale Requiem. It's funny how every game has like the word Requiem now. Like Requiem is becoming a popular word. I did play what else did I have? What else? Oh, I did play Alan Wake 2. A couple years ago I played Alan Wake 2, so Alan Wake 2 is fantastic. That I'd play again. But I'm gonna give myself maybe another year or two, or wait till Halloween to play Alan Wake 2 again. I wonder how my battery life is on my. Okay, I still got plenty of battery life on my tablet. Sekiro is a little boring. Ooh, well that's good to know. Now I'll still check it out. The Callisto Protocol is another one that I've been yet to get my hands on. Like it kind of gives me the vibes of Dead Space or a horror game, but I don't know. It gives me a little bit of a vibes of Alien and Dead Space, but I don't know. I'm just basing it off of the image. Let's see, what do we got here? What else? Another title. We got Chivalry. I know you guys can't see the Steam Deck, sadly. I wish I did. I'll have to like get my capture card set up. But oh, of course. I played Red Dead Redemption and GTA. Those were like my those were like games that I played when I was growing up. Grand Theft Auto, all the Grand Theft Autos. Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, number 4, and then number 5. I think my favorite out of all of them, it's a very close second between number 4 and number 5. I liked San Andreas when it first came out and I loved the story. My problem with San Andreas now is because we have GTA 5 and GTA 4, San Andreas has kind of aged a bit. And there was plenty of years where I had spent playing San Andreas multiplayer on PC and playing. There was a design your own mission mod that allowed you to make missions on San Andreas. And then Grand Theft Auto Online came out, and I probably killed so many hours on Grand Theft Auto Online for all platforms. Like, I don't know if I'm ashamed to say it, but I probably bought Grand Theft Auto 5 like 5 times or 4 times. I got it for PS3. Oh, actually, yeah, 5 times. I got it for PS4. I got it for Xbox. I got the game for PC, and I got the game again for PlayStation 5 when the upgrade came out. So yeah, I bought Grand Theft Auto 5 times, and somehow Rockstar found a way to snatch my money up. Red Dead I only bought twice. I bought it on PS4 and bought it on the PC. thankfully. And then I guess if you count Red Dead 1, I bought that 3 times. Red Dead Redemption 1 I bought 3 times because I got it on PS3, and then years later I got it again on Xbox, and then I ended up buying it on the Switch. Oh man. And that's the problem. That's actually one of the biggest issues that I have, and why I moved back to PC gaming, or why I was happy to, get my hands on a Steam Deck, because I wanted a device that kind of did it all. I wanted a device that was capable of playing handheld, docking it to, say, my TV, and get into some of my retro library. And the Steam Deck is the only one that did that outside of the AY and Thor, and then the Nintendo Switch is pretty cool. I take the Nintendo Switch places more though than the Steam Deck, because I just don't like the size of it. That's my only gripe about it. But I promised myself that I'm not getting any new handhelds or any new systems probably for a while. I have no reason to. Like about 2 months ago, I had bought myself a gaming laptop. And the reason I bought a gaming laptop wasn't necessarily for gaming. It just so happened that it was on a sale and I needed a new computer for work. However, what happened was when I bought it, I had already been used to using a MacBook for so long that I wanted to try Windows again. And I've always hopped back and forth between Windows, PC, Mac, and then getting into Linux. But for the most part, I was always into Mac. So what had happened was when I got my Lenovo Legion laptop, I started using it for work. It was fantastic for the first 2 months, and it had an RTX graphics card. But there was a day, and it was for two reasons. There was two reasons I come up to it, but I ended up getting rid of it. I ended up returning it back to Costco. And the reason I did that was because I had meant to buy it for work. I was using it for work, but there was a part of me that it created friction between my Mac and my Windows. And I'm like, you know what? I already have a computer that I do work on as well. What was the real reason I bought it? And I couldn't help but use that excuse to say, well, look, I bought this thing to play video games on it. So what happened was I looked at my Steam library and I saw how big it was. And it was like 500, 600 games over the course of, I guess you could say, about maybe, what, 13 years? Because I've been on Steam since 2009, 2010-ish, longer than that. And I just got like super depressed for a second. I'm like, bro, I have a Steam Deck. I got a place that I can play these games. Why do I want this thing? So I boxed it up. I returned it. And then I just said, you know what? All right, I'm fine with what I have. So I ended up returning a Lenovo Legion laptop with a RTX graphics card, intentionally knowing that I'm not going to be able to play video games as best as the quality can be on, say, a Steam Deck. Dang, yeah. I got I got I definitely got years on that one. I was in high school in 2007. But pretty much that's where it starts. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, I don't need this device. I'm like, this is too much. So I boxed it up, I returned it, got my money back. And it wasn't because it was a bad computer. It was just because it was causing me too much friction and too much stress of having all of my different gear, having a computer, having an iPad, having a Steam Deck, having a, Nintendo Switch, having a PlayStation. I was like, dude, I'm done. I'm done. So if I were to get back into a console like experience that was not the Switch or the Steam Deck, I already have one, and that's the PS5. But I don't even really use my PS5 for gaming much. I use my PS5 mostly as a as a media player. I usually watch movies on it, watch YouTube, and then sometimes I'll just kind of have it on the background. But yep, I do plan on keeping it though. So when Grand Theft Auto comes out, I'm gonna be on that. When Wolverine comes out, those will be the titles that I get are the exclusives, and the titles that I know that are not coming to PC anytime soon, or the Switch 2, or anything. Like I could have bought Resident Evil Requiem on my Steam Deck, but I actually I bought Resident Evil Requiem on the Nintendo Switch 2. So primarily when it comes to gaming, I'm more of a Switch slash PC gamer. But having those devices kind of help. So that's kind of the whole premise of it. But yeah, I was born in the 90s. So the 90s are where I would like to go back to if I could. Alrighty. Have a good one. So let's see. That probably would be I could probably get into Yo, what up, Vade? You know what's so great is one person leaves, another person joins. I am here. I am here. Bye bye. Yeah, so Vade, I have a question for you. Are you going to be getting Grand Theft Auto 6 when it comes out? Because that is going to be the ultimatum. I am like, the weird thing about this, about Grand Theft Auto 6, is the game isn't even out, and I'm already tired of hearing about it. I just kind of want to play it. But in terms of like all of the everyday talk about the Grand Theft Auto 6, bro, dude, the game's gonna be great. I know that. Like, they put all this effort into it. Lucia, Jason, all those people. My worry, though, my only two worries about it is the writing. The right. I waited too long not to play it. My only biggest complaint, and it's not even really a complaint, or because I still know that it's gonna be just as good, is the writing. As most of the developers and writers who had made this franchise as good as it is, and actors are no longer part of the company. And then the other part is just the fact that the world is just so culturally different now. I don't know how they can keep the satire going. The world itself is like a satire, and that Grand Theft Auto 6 becomes more serious than the world, if that makes sense. Like the world is already in a weird satirical state. How do you make fun of the world when everybody makes fun of themselves? And I think we're at a point where it may be a little outdated for sure because everything just moves way too quick. But the one thing I will say this that I love about Grand Theft Auto is that since Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, and now Grand Theft Auto 6, each of those titles were at a complete centerpiece in time that doesn't necessarily exist now. Grand Theft Auto 5, not so much, but GTA 6, or no, GTA 4 came out in 2008, where, everyone was using flip phones and everyone was still, carrying around like CRT TVs. Like, that was the peak. That was the last time the world was ever going to be that way. Like, that was from a completely different era. And I think that's what's so fascinating about number 4. Number 5, we kind of had Grand Theft Auto 5 is my favorite as well. But it's a bit between Grand Theft Auto 5 and 4, like I was saying in the comments earlier. So, what's new with you? Anything exciting? Because I'm in. I'm right now. I'm like, okay, I didn't actually mean to go live, but I accidentally hit the live button. I just said, fuck it. I'll stay on for like an hour. So I'm just kind of thinking about the next game I probably am gonna check out if I get time to do it, and it's probably gonna be might be, if I buy a new one, it'll probably be Wolverine. If I play what I have, I'm still going to Days Gone. Oh snap! BS at your job. I want to hear it. I really do. And we definitely need to talk about the album, but like me right now, I'm completely self-employed. I need to do more live streams actually. I know I'm going. My girlfriend's coming over here tomorrow, so that'll be fun. And then we're going to like a horse expo on Saturday, so that's gonna be fun. I got like I got like Mario sitting right there. Ah, nitpicking and micromanaging. In a way, I mean, I've been dealing. I can't say how. I don't want to. Thankfully, nobody I know besides my close friends watch my streams. But I have actually dealt with that with clientele in the past. Not gonna name names in case a client comes on and be like, "What are you talking about me?" But I know I've had that same exact experience that I thought that I would be getting away from at a traditional job, only for it to happen at like in a self-employment type of status as well. The best part though, is you have more choice with the self-employment side. That being said, it's like it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. Are they going to pay you this month or are they not? Are they going to back out or are they going to continue? That's the only thing that I have to mitigate. Outside of that, the type of games that I'm currently getting back into are actually games from the PlayStation 2 era. I've been playing a lot of PS2 titles on my AYN door. Ones that I want to get back into. I'm getting a new music manager, so I'm going to be getting nitpicked with music and work. Oh my god. A new manager? Oh, wow. Huh. Man, we gotta get the crew back together and get on a live stream. We gotta get the crew back together. You, me, Brandon, Jay. I don't know what Jay. I really wonder what Jay's up to. I mean, I know what he's up to, but I'm like, I'm really wondering if he's gonna be like, if anybody has time to get back into doing like a group stream, because that's kind of what I would love to do is do group streams again. Mm, 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 mm. I recorded a couple shorts today, but I haven't posted anything in a while, so that's why I'm doing this stream. And I don't even think this stream is monetized. I don't actually think I plan to keep the stream monetized. So one of the things that YouTube does when it comes to monetizing streams on YouTube Short is they have monetization default off. And because this is sort of an accidental stream, I don't think I put it every Friday night and Saturday night. Okay. All right. That might work. We got to get them back. We got to be like, yo, get you guys on, get your butt on the stream. You know what's funny? I think I might have I made a post about it, but I don't think I told you. So, and I mentioned it in the stream earlier, so I'm probably gonna clip it. But to bring it up again, I had that gaming laptop, that Lenovo gaming laptop that I had. I actually returned it. And the reason I returned it is because, as somebody who's been a long time Mac user, I found it way too hard to manage all of my stuff. Like my muscle memory is so on Mac that I kept trying to right click and copy files from my PC and paste them on my phone or my Mac and wondering why it wasn't working. And then I got rid of it, obviously, just because of finances. And the other part is I got rid of it is I just got way too much stuff. But that I kept the computer for about 60 something days, and then I returned it after like the when I still had my 30-day return policy left. Would I have kept it if finances were not an issue? I don't know, because part of me said yes, part of me thinks I would, but I also didn't like how big it was. So I didn't want to carry that thing around if I'm going places. It was a 16-inch, and my MacBook is 13. So it's a completely different experience. And then the battery life. I can't work anything that's not on Mac, but I still want to get rid of my iPhone. What would you get if you get rid of your iPhone? Like, what type of Android? Are you thinking about a Google Pixel? Google Pixel. I'm actually surprised. So, okay, my question to you: why are you still wanting to get rid of the iPhone? Like, what is there an underlying reason as to why are you doing it? Is it because I'm wondering if it's the same reason why I want to get rid of my Mac, why I wanted to get rid of it originally. Because originally, when I went back to Windows, the reason I wanted to go back to Windows is because Mac had just got boring. Like, it was very boring to work on a Mac. However, whenever I was like looking on when I was working on that, I just couldn't get used to it. So I had to go back to a Mac. And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe boring is better. But with iPhone, I just feel like, yes, it's kind of boring. It's not really a good phone, and they're not doing anything different. Hey, I can't argue with that. That is true. They aren't doing anything that's remarkably special. That being said, there are those rumors that the new iPhone is going to be a folding phone. And I don't know why, but knowing Apple, I don't think that's going to happen. Or if it does, it's not going to be in the way that people expect. But if they do a folding phone, I don't know, man. That actually may be good to some extent for me because I do have an iPad mini that I use a lot, and I don't. That's actually what I'm streaming off of is my iPad mini. Dude, I know. Since Tim Cook's gone, that'd be curious. But what I'm curious about is I would like to see them do something. If they do a folding phone, have it be a combination of iPad OS and iOS, where if I unfold it, it operates more like an iPad, and if I have it, folded, it operates more like a phone. But I just don't see Apple doing that. I just don't. I could be wrong, and maybe I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see Apple doing it. Not yet, at least. And it's going to be extremely expensive, like every freaking phone out there. Apple has officially become the budget option. They they released the MacBook Neo. They released the iPad A16, the Mac Mini. The only one that I still think. I mean, the iPhone is still their flagship product, so the Pro models, the Pro models are still going to be over 1,000. But there's something telling me if they do a folding phone, that thing's going to cost close to 2 grand after taxes for like the top tier model. And I don't really like the iPhone Air. Hey, at least with the Intel Max, you can still self repair it. So that's the main advantage. Is depending on what model you get, you can self repair it and install new RAM. And I think that's my biggest gripe with Apple and practically all tech companies right now is I can't really self repair things if I wanted to. Not that I do it, but at least if I could, like my Steam Deck right here, if I wanted to, I could crack this thing open and replace the RAM. Actually, no, I can't replace the RAM. I can replace and repair the components in here, but I can update the storage and put that to be like 2 terabytes, which I haven't done yet. Change up the battery. Can't do that on a Mac. Not anymore. But yep. I have like a whole bunch of shorts that I got scripts for. I'm not sure if I'm going to work on them tonight or work on them tomorrow. And when I mean shorts, I mean ones that I actually have to clean up and rewrite because ChatGPT makes them sound so robotic and I don't like them. One of the things recently with AI that I've been feeling is as somebody who's used AI for for what I've done, I'm starting to dislike it the more that I use it, and it's not for reasons that most people would expect. It's not because that's harming the environment or it's stealing the trees or it's doing all this crazy nonsense. Like all of the stuff that people whine about AI, uh, I can care less about because it's not it's one thing out of many that are also doing the same exact damage. The part that I don't like about it is I have to be very careful to not have AI like override my thinking and override like what I try to get done. So that's my biggest thing with AI right now. But I have like a bunch of AI generated scripts on like video game nostalgia that I generated like months ago, and I cracked through some of them, and then some of them I rewrote and I would speak out, and I look at the script, I'm like, I gotta fact check this. You don't use your brain at work? Yeah, no. That's kind of the same for me because the type of work that I do, AI will uh, 10x and even 100x the speed if I used it, if I did everything manually. But when it comes to like creativity stuff, when it comes to trying to sit down, read and write and think, I there's days that I just have to step away from it, and I'm just like, that's another reason why I got here and I went into this live stream because I don't have to focus too hard on getting a script out, and I can just kind of talk. And if anything comes out, I can clip it. I can, put it up on my channel. That's what I'm likely going to do is I'm going to take this stream, clip it, and then make some minor adjustments to it. Hence why I'm not going to keep the stream too much longer. But I have like a bunch of clips. Like I still use my AI avatar clone, but I'm starting to use it less now because like there's a little bit of subtle nuance to it. Like I like the clone, don't get me wrong. It's fantastic. But there's just certain nuances that I don't like, and I don't know. It's not a direction that I want to go with permanently. What I would love to do is have a script for all of these topics, record one long stream or one long video, and then break them up, and then take those individual things and then do micro edits, but they have to be very, very particular. Like, I don't like how YouTube shorts, I always have to have a hook to capture people's attention. I always have to say something that is intentionally wrong. Now, one of the crazy parts about YouTube Shorts, and I've seen this on Twitter, I see this on Instagram, is you don't want to spill all of the facts inside your video. You want to withhold one or two factual correct things from your video so people can comment and tell you how wrong you are, or hey, you forgot this, hey, you forgot that. Literally either rage baiting them or leaving things out so they can correct you. Like, I find those are like the three biggest things that will get people commenting, besides any sort of obvious AI crap. But like, for instance, I would have to say, for instance, it's annoying. I literally would have to be like, Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the worst game ever. Don't buy it. Here's why. Jason and Lucia are not actually lovers. And so you purposefully rage bait people with wrong information or just really bad takes, and then you turn around and be like, you know what? Okay. Like AI does it a lot too, where it's like you'll see something that's obviously incorrect, and it's the first thing that says, and everybody just clowns on it. Or like the PlayStation 7 is coming out before the PlayStation 6. Here's what you need to know about the next generation of video games. Did you know that I'm trying to think of something stupid so I can clip it. I'm trying to think of something really stupid. I'll clip it. It's like, hey, did you know that if you dunk your head underwater, you can see the stars? It's just like, what? Yes, if you look down and you look up, you'll see the stars. I don't. It's like stupid crap like that. So I always see like I always and not even to mention the new thing that they have on YouTube Shorts is this thing called a remix. So what you'll see is a little button that lets you remix and create AI slot videos out of someone else's videos. And what's fascinating about that, what's not fascinating, but what's intriguing is that's going to end up replacing what Sora was, because Sora shut down, and Sora was like the way where people just would create the same thing and then swipe and then create another thing. The problem is that Google's Gemini AI thing is just not as good as Sora was, and like Sora just used so much computing power. It kind of, it kind of sucks that Sora shut down, because out of all the models, that was actually the easiest one to kind of get people to like, try it out. But at the same time, I don't really have a need to use it. I played around with Sora for a little bit, and it was fun, but that's all it was. It was just fun. I don't think anybody was going to buy a viable product out of that, if I'm being honest. My thoughts on the AY and Thor. Ooh, I like it. My my AY and Thor is actually in the other room, sadly, and I have to go grab it. But my thoughts on it is great for retro gaming. If you are looking to play anything from PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo DS, 3DS, some Nintendo Switch, anything prior to retro consoles and up to maybe like Nintendo Switch-ish era, yes, great. PC gaming is only right now, I would say, exclusively viable and kind of worth trying if you have a AYN Thor Pro or AYN Thor Max. And as someone who even has the AYN Thor Max, I don't actually like I actually don't really like playing PC games on it as much as I thought I would. You ordered it in May. I ordered my AYN Thor. Yes, it takes up to a month, depending on how late you are in the batch. For example, I ordered my AYN Thor in on January 29th, and I did not get it until March 12th or March 14th. I was like the second batch, or no, I was like batch 3. So I had got it about 2 months later. So yeah, I got it about maybe a month and a half. So yeah, if you ordered it in the 27th of May, you'll likely get it in July. That's my guess, is you'll likely get it in July. Probably the middle of July. But going back to it, when it comes to PC gaming, here's my take on it with PC gaming, because there's a lot of videos that I still want to record when it comes to trying out PC games on it. But I've actually went back to PC gaming on my Steam Deck, because my two biggest complaints with it is having to do so much configuration to get the game to work on the Thor is like it's a hit or miss, and it's just trial and error. And two, actually installing the games on the device tends to kind of heat it up, and it takes too long to install. So, and this could be a theory, but I also feel like the storage space for installing those games on a Thor compared to other devices is more storage, because you have to, count for the fact that there might be extra drivers or proton layers. You're in batch 6, but I love it. I definitely think that it has solved the issue of all of my retro gaming stuff, because when I was interested in the Steam Deck in 2023, when that came out and I bought it, the primary use for it was to get a device that played all of my retro games. My PlayStation 2, my Dreamcast, my Xbox, and then, obviously some PC titles, like, stuff that I already bought. But my issue is I didn't like taking my Steam Deck anywhere. I didn't want to put my Steam Deck in its big case, lug it around, stick it in a bag, and then have it become a thing where it goes, where it's bulky. It's still slimmer than obviously a gaming laptop. But as somebody who had a Nintendo Switch, I didn't want to deal with that. So when I got the AYN Thor, that like solved all those issues, because I could just put it in my pocket. Yep. Are you getting the AYN Thor? What model are you getting? Are you getting base, pro, or max, or light if you're really looking for something light? Because I'll be real, with the recent price increase with the Steam Deck, I can't recommend getting a Steam Deck anymore. The Steam Deck, in terms of like for newcomers, nope, I can't recommend anybody buy a Steam Deck anymore, sadly. And the AY Thor is kind of creeping up there a little bit, but I still can kind of recommend it because of just what it's capable of doing at such a small form factor. But the price on the Max, on the new Max models, because one of the things that they did do, from what I'm hearing, is they cheaped out, I think, on the storage options and maybe some of the RAM on later batches. Still worth it, but I think you're probably safe with the Pro. And I would actually honestly say, if you're somebody that just plays retro games and you didn't plan on playing any PC, you'd probably be safe with a base model. But I preferred the more RAM, so I just kind of went hog wild and got 1 terabyte max model. I didn't need it, but I was like, you know what? At the time that I bought it, I was not planning on keeping my Steam Deck around. And then I got around to playing PC games on the Thor, and I realized how much of a pain it was to get all of the Steam Deck, all of those games installed on it. That I was like, dude, they run so much better on the Steam Deck. It's not that they don't run, but because there have been titles that run very well. It's not like fully baked. I give it until the end of the year, and then maybe we'll see Android PC gaming really, really, like, have better performance. If I were to play PC games on the Thor, it'd be last gen games like 2007 to 15? Do you think the Pro would handle its potential? I think so. I think older PC games, it will. Your biggest issue isn't going to be whether or not they can run it, but you will want to make sure that those old games have controller support. Games that are more closer to 2012, 2013, and 15 will probably work very well. For example, I had installed and played Metal Gear Solid 5 on it, Borderlands, and all of those games work very well on it. Tried a bit of Sleeping Dogs, but I think if you're going to try and push anything past 2015 and you're going to go 2000, 17, 18, 19 era of games, you're really going to have a hit or miss. Like, I recently was able to get Resident Evil 2 remake running on it, but it's okay. I don't think I'll play it on there. So there's that. I don't think I'm going to be playing anything that is going to be over 50 gigabytes in storage. I'm looking for more smaller indie titles. That's kind of what I aim to do. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5 will work. I know it works on the Max. Metal Gear Solid 5 works, and I have a video on that, believe it or not, and it works relatively well. Give me 1 minute. I'm going to go grab my Thor. Uh, I got to get my Thor. Hopefully the microphone didn't go out and I still have it, but yeah. I got my AY and Thor really quickly. I ended up getting the Rainbow Max model, by the way. So I honestly want to play all of my MGS and DMC games on something. I think you could probably do that. What I really love to play on the Thor right now, believe it or not, dude, PS2 games on this thing look absolutely stunning. This in GameCube. Now, obviously, this is like, very old game, but what I love about it is that you can just tell that they run at 1080p, and 1080p on a small screen like this, it is chef's kiss. It is clean. But I have Killzone. DS games are absolutely a blast to play on here, even though I haven't had time to dive into too many DS games. The thing that I'm really curious about, but I haven't got into it yet, is Xbox Cloud Gaming. Because if you have Game Pass, or you have, your PlayStation or your Xbox, and you want to do remote play, that is actually the more viable option. But then again, that's not anything different than, streaming it on your phone. But you want to play these natively, of course. Let me see if I can launch. Oh, one game I did try recently that actually worked relatively okay was, even though I don't really like the fact that I installed this version, was Mafia 2 Definitive Edition. That works okay. Here, let me install. Do I still have a Metal Gear installed here? Did I uninstall it? No way. I didn't uninstall it, did I? I might have accidentally installed Metal Gear Solid 5. Huh. Oh well. I was going to show you Metal Gear Solid 5, but I accidentally installed it. I don't know how I did that. That's sad. Arcade Paradise is another one, or is it download? How do you get your Steam games on your Thor? Is there an app when you stream your games on the stream? Um, the app. Okay, so there's an app called Game Native. Actually, you know what? I have an idea. Watch this. I forgot that I'm on my tablet, so I can just do this. See? See? There, much better. So, when it comes to AY and Thor games or PC titles, there's an app called Game Native and Game Hub. So what you would do is you would install and you would log into your Steam account on this app, and it will pull up all of your games. And so what you can do is pull up any of your games, hit download. I have tried Batman Arkham Asylum. Batman Arkham Asylum works, but I've been having a little bit of like graphical glitches with it. But they install pretty much natively to the device. The other app that there's another one called Game Hub. I don't like Game Hub personally. I mean, I actually think I deleted Game Hub. No, Game Hub's right here. I've had issues getting Game Hub to work, so I'm more game native person. But both of these apps allow you to practically just install games. You can stream. I would recommend actually doing that if it's a game that you can't run on here. You can do cloud streaming. That is probably one of the biggest things that I'd say is worth doing. One of these days, I'm going to be trying this out. I'm gonna probably gonna have to get a premium or ultimate for it though, and try that out for a month and see if it's worth. But primarily, I used my Thor for more retro stuff. And one thing I will say that's great is because this is running Android, you can use YouTube. You can use editing. I can't speak. You can use any editing app that is on Android, so you can load CapCut. You can do InShot. The only issue is if you're looking to try and live stream gameplay off of this, your best bet would be to do through a capture card, or if you want to record your gameplay, you would have to do it through this thing right here. There's no camera on it, probably for the better. Um, so you can't like capture your thing on here. But why would you do that anyway? Why would you want to live stream on this device? I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like those are the two main apps. Let me see if I can load a game real quickly. I'll load a PC game, and I'll show you what I mean about it taking so long. So pay attention to my temperature. Pay attention to my fan. I'm on smart mode, 57% battery life. Let's say we want to install a game. Let's just choose a really short one, for instance, just to show you how the temperature works. 20 gigabytes isn't short enough. That would take like 30 minutes. But No, I tried Days Gone. I regret even installing this game on here. This game took so long to install. Here, let's do this. Let's go and do. Too many decisions. Decision fatigue. You know what? Here, let's do Amnesia. I don't. No, I don't want to do Amnesia. And you'll see why. You'll see why I'm exiting a lot of these games. It's not just because I'm indecisive. It's any game that's like super long to download just takes forever to install. Here, let's do Hitman. Yeah, Hitman Blood Money is a good one. 4 GB. Cool. So to kind of pay attention to it, it may not be as bad because it says 4 minutes and 3 minutes, but to really pay attention to it, whenever you're installing PC games on the AY and Thor, temperatures will increase on this device. They're not going to increase to the point where it shuts down the system. I've never had that happen, thankfully. But you can see this number go up to about 74, 78, or 78, sometimes 80 if it really, really gets hot. And the longer the install is, the more it is demanding on the system, if that makes sense. You can fix that where if you don't want to have it go so quickly, you can slow down the download. But yeah, like this will get hot and it'll start heating up. Thankfully, Hitman Blood Money is installing pretty quickly, but it's also because it's a 4 GB game. If I was trying to install like Grand Theft Auto 5 Legacy, or the enhanced version, it'd probably take like an hour or two. And that's why I wouldn't recommend like really going too crazy with it, because if you install a game and it doesn't work, you just wasted time. And it says it works. There are compatibility issues with some, and what you'll have to do is you have to play around with the settings and all that. Like, I don't know if Hitman's gonna work. I've never actually tried Hitman on here. And then, not to mention, Hitman has things I got to do with the buttons and mapping the buttons if I had to map them. It's an older PC game. But the other thing I love about it is how good Nintendo DS games look. And they almost look too good. That's my problem. It's not that they look like that. They don't look bad. They look too good that I think it kind of I don't want to say ruins the game, but it looks like the game wasn't designed for a lower resolution. So when you upscale DS games to 1080p, uh, they're a little rough around the edges, pun intended. But I want to show you something that's gonna be kind of funny. I think you'll get a kick out of this. But yeah, it's heating up a little bit. And the battery life will kind of be a little affected, but I'm gonna show you something here in a minute. Uh, yeah, DS games on here are gonna look like insane. But yeah, so Hitman is almost installed. And then sometimes even when this is installing, it's doing all this allocation stuff and it just takes too long. But let me show you something real fast with the PC or with the DS titles. Melon DS. So I've been testing out some DS titles. Now the ones that are obviously cartoony look better. Oh hey, GoldenEye. Don't ask why I have so many of these. Let's see. What's a good example? Wow. Okay, the Lego Star Wars: A Complete Saga, Clone Wars. Oh. Let me pick up. There's one I wanted to try. I wanted to show you. Spider-Man: Shattered Dimensions. I guess we can launch that. I just DS titles look clean, but the cutscenes for DS titles usually don't see improvements as they're all pre-rendered. But and usually like menus are the same way. But one of the things I will say about DS games, depending on the year they were made, depending on their textures, you will see them look really good. Like Mario 64 on here, oh my god, that looks excellent. But yeah, so there's that. Let me actually exit. And so, mainly because they're just all polygons, they're all polygons for a lot of these games. I don't really have any. There's too many to show, but let's go back here actually. Mario 64. If I'm correct, there's a 4. I think so. I saw there's a guy that on YouTube that does a lot of Thor videos, and I think he did a tutorial on it, but I actually didn't even know that you can play co-op. Failed to find Steam. So yeah, that is going to be the common theme here is whenever you are looking at Steam games, they're not going to work for some random reason and you need to find out why. And sometimes they may work for some random thing and then they may not. I don't even know if this is going to work. But you can see how frustrating it would be to install a big PC game and only find out why is it not working. That is strange. Why does it say cannot find Steam? I don't know. I do not know. Legacy DRM, maybe that will work. Launch clean clients. Yeah, let's try that. So typically, some games, if they have old DRM, you have to like toy around with a lot of these settings, and then launch the client. Whenever I do my shorts with it, I usually try and install it, see if it works, and then come back and then do my test video on it. Yeah, install Hitman Blood Money. So as you see, it's just gonna. It might load, it might not. This is literally a live test. I never tested this before. But typically, if they run, they'll. One of the other common issues is you'll see a black screen, and then you have to go and test more settings. But it doesn't look like this is gonna work. I don't know. Interesting. Very interesting. It looks like it's still working or it's trying to run. I don't know if it's trying to run at 720p, lower than 720p, but That's kind of the experience. It's literally like a gotcha game. You never know what you're gonna get. Yep. So those are examples of why gaming on PC is hit or miss. A game that I know that I do have run that I have ran on here that works exceptionally well is Deus Ex Director's Cut. And then sometimes these games will work, they'll run into issues, and then they'll stop working, and then you've changed the setting and you don't know what it is, but this works right off the bat. So yeah. And then as you see, everything's already mapped to the controller, so you don't have to worry about that. My only thing that I would say kind of, gets that's a little bit difficult is when playing shooters, you have to deal with the triggers, but it's doable. I would definitely play certain shooters on here for sure. And so, yeah, let's go here. I'm very curious to know if like older games like Portal, Half Life would work. I can't see why they wouldn't. I keep forgetting that my microphone is like right next to my chest, so I don't need to talk too loud. All right, but yeah, one game for some real weird reason. Oh, I died. One game that I couldn't get working yet. However, I've been wanting to get working is Just Cause. Like, I probably am gonna end up trying, say, Grand Theft Auto, Max Payne, and at some point, and seeing if those work at a later date. But as of now, I don't really have plans on trying them out. Recently, the Game Native update had got frame generation and FSR scaling, so that has been kind of a pretty cool addition. And what that means is that any game that is capable of doing it will have frame gen if you enable it. So if a game runs at, say, 30, 40 frames per second, and you wanted a 2x frame gen, you'll get 60 or 80. And because this is a 120 hertz display, you could push games over 120. I just don't know how many will actually hit that frame rate without any issues or hiccups. So that's my whole take on it. Yeah, but no, I like this thing. Yep. And then let me go back to here. Let me show you Mario 64. And mind you, I don't have any like patches or anything. But Mario 64 on here looks like, oh my god. I have no idea how Mario 64 was going to look, but it's called Super Mario 64, right? Yeah, it is. I keep forgetting that. Yeah. Mario 64 DS. Yeah, there it is. Super Mario 4 64 DS. And then you can have save states as well. So I don't have a save state, I don't think. So if you get yourself a stylus, but yeah, like this is like what 5x resolution, and like this is one of those games that like looks absolutely clean. And the fact that I don't know if it runs at 60. It shows the counter being 60, but I don't think it's 60. If it is, I'm gonna be shocked. Now to show what I'm gonna show you is I'm gonna show you a game that that doesn't look very good running at the highest resolution, but it's so comical. It's so comical actually playing it because you can tell they didn't put like a whole bunch of detail into the maps. Yeah, definitely looks like it's running at 60. But when I was growing up, I used to play I had like I like Splinter Cell, and I know Splinter Cell is one of those games where like why do they make a DS version of Splinter Cell? I don't know. But I went ahead and I launched it to see how it looked because I remember when I played Splinter Cell on the DS, it was running in like what 15 frames per second or something. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. So when you take a game that didn't run very well on the hardware that it was designed for and is a port, you are like when you blow it up to 4K or no 4K 1080 however you want to call it. I have a load state on this. You're going to get a kick out of this. No. Okay, load state. All right. It doesn't look bad now, but you can tell that the okay. No, no, no. Oh, I forgot the freaking objectives. But like just looking at the map and looking at all of the details, yeah, not the ideal way of playing Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. And like I said, I think they capped the frame rate, so I don't think it's at a 60 at all. You're probably running at like 25, 30. But I just thought it was kind of funny to try this out and see the game just being like, yo, just play the PS2 version, which I have the PS2 version and other ones. PS2, uh, Xbox. I don't have the Xbox version or even PC version because I have the PC version on here. It's just kind of comical. And so you just sit here and just using that to aim. Not ideal. Yeah, no, that was not going to happen. Yeah. So depending on the game you play, like I actually, believe it or not, went back and tried some of the old Call of Duty games on here. Call of Duty's on a, like I think 3D. I don't know. I don't think 3DS had Call of Duty. 3DS is another one that works relatively well. So if you have 3DS, this is a hit or miss. I would actually, if you here's the thing, I had got rid of my 3DS a while ago. Do I recommend getting rid of a 3DS just to play a 3DS games on the AY and Thor? Probably not. Not all of them work perfectly. Some of them may have graphical glitches. Some of them may not, look right. But to kind of just show you one of the ones I've been really one of the ones that's really really cool to play. Obviously, is Super Smash Bros. So playing Super Smash Bros. On the 3DS or but on the AY and Thor, you're gonna get a pretty pleasant experience. It's not perfect, but it's more than playable. And then Duck Hunt. I'm just gonna pick that real quick. Uh, yeah, I haven't. I haven't tried that yet. You know that I don't do have it installed. I do have like as you see, it's not perfect, but it's looks clean. I mean, you can definitely play it. And then on this OLED display, like the video doesn't do justice. OLED displays really clean. I mean, I think maybe this gives you a little bit of an impression on how it looks on this OLED display, but I haven't tried Revelations yet. Let me see. Do I have Revelations? No, I have Resident Evil Mercenaries. I played that. Um, Mercenaries is cool. Not as cool as Revelations, but it's cool. I don't think I would. I think the. I think one of the biggest things when it comes to 3DS versions of games versus say trying to play another version like a PC version of it or a PS2. I'm always gonna go with the best ideal version to try out, but I actually liked the Resident Evil Revelations for the 3DS better in in ways. It was very much. Let me go to load. I don't know. Do I have a load? Okay, it's fine. Let's just start mission. It's a shame these aren't actually. I mean, granted, yes, the big gimmick is 3D, but I think the trade-off is: do you want to not have 3D on something like this? Are you okay with that, or do you want higher resolution and just more compatibility? I don't know. I accidentally. I guess you can kind of see this, and then you can kind of imagine what Revelations might look like. I keep healing when I'm not trying to heal. But yeah, that's a that this is actually a title that I would probably go through and play if I was like, really wanting to just play something for 15 minutes and then come back to. I would definitely play this. Mission select. And then, yep. But I'm likely going to be ending the stream here like in a couple minutes because it's getting late, and I actually I streamed for a lot longer than I had anticipated. What I do like about it is it goes to show that the limitations of what they had to work with this was pretty was pretty significant. I'm noticing that this game does that thing where when the enemies are like further away, their frame rate like cuts in half to like 15 to maintain the overall game experience to be as fluid as possible. I don't really have a oh, I still got this rifle. I don't have like the actual sniper rifle. Just this assault rifle, all I have. But yeah, that's pretty much 3DS in a nutshell. The only thing I don't really touch yet, or I don't plan to touch at all, because I have the actual system, is Nintendo Switch. I don't really need to try Nintendo Switch stuff because I have a Switch too. Uh, so it kind of just I keep that strictly for that system. But for all old stuff, I that's my primary use case for this. And then my PC is just taking from my Steam library. But yeah, that is the AY Thor. Hopefully you'll get yours sooner than later. But that's kind of what I think about it. I think it's fantastic. Does it replace my Steam Deck? Not yet. Not to only to some extent it does. I'm still gonna play PC games on my Steam Deck for the most part, but it's definitely worth the money. Well, I am gonna be heading out. Yeah, that thing is a 3DS. Yeah, that's a 3DS thing, low key. Yeah, and 100%. I don't do. I haven't. The only thing I haven't tried yet because I don't know if it'll work is 360 and PS3 games. I don't know if I'm going to try those. I don't think I want to. I don't think PS3 is going to work. Maybe there might be a couple titles, but no. But I'm headed out, so it was good chatting with you. And feel free to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And have shorts come out within the next, week or couple days or so. I was gonna say week, but I'm gonna be working on some shorts for the AY and Thor. So yeah, have a good one.